How many of you have ever played the game hide and seek? I have, and it's pretty fun. I like playing that. Let's imagine for a second that all of us in this room are the seekers, and we are going around looking for the hiders. We're looking everywhere that we could possibly search. We're searching and searching and searching, and we may find some people, or we may not. So who are we seeking in the game hide and seek? Well, I have a question for you. Who do we seek in this game of life? Who are we seeking in our lives? Matthew 6:24 says you have two options. You can serve God or you can serve mammon. You can serve the world, things of the world. You can serve Satan. How many of you want to seek the devil? I'm sure none of us do. We can read what happens to those who seek him. In Matthew chapter 7, it says, they go down the broad path which leads to destruction. But we should want to seek God. We should want to go down that straight and narrow path. How do we seek God? How do we seek him? It says in Colossians 3, to set your mind on things above. To set it there. It says in Matthew 6:33, to seek first the kingdom of God. Seek it first. Where do we seek? We see in Colossians 3 again, set your mind on things above, where Christ is sitting at the right hand of God. And Matthew again says, seek ye first. What? The kingdom of God. Why do you seek? What is the purpose of seeking? Is it because we want to get to heaven? Yes, that is a good reason, but that's not the most important. Is it because God created us? Yes, but still, that's not the most important. It is because we love him. That is the most important reason. What do you do to someone that you love? Do you want to get away from them and stay away from them and not want to get closer to them? I don't think so. I think we want to get closer to the people that we love. Turn with me to James chapter 4. James chapter 4, this will be our key context for today. Verse 7, starting there. Therefore, submit to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Lament and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning, and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord, and he will lift you up. So we see in verse 8, draw near to God, and he will draw near to him. If we love him, we will draw near to him. We will seek him in our lives. We need to seek him. We need to draw near to him. And if we do that, he will draw near to us. Also, from this passage, we see there's other people that seek us. Not only God, there's other people. Who are some of those people? We see that God seeks us. He will find you if you seek him. And also, we see that Satan seeks you. It says in verse 7, submit to God and resist the devil. How can you resist the devil if he's not seeking after you? Resist the devil and he will flee from you. He will get away from you. It says in 1 Peter, to watch out, be watchful, be vigilant, for you have an adversary, which is the devil, that walks about how? Like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. It says in verse 7 that if we submit to God, number 1, and resist the devil, number 2, and he will flee from you. How do we submit to God? Well, we have to give our lives up. We have to die to ourselves. We have to be buried in the watery grave of baptism. We need to cleanse and wash ourselves. Look at verse 8. It says, the latter parts, cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. You need to be washed. You need to be made clean in his blood. Also, we can see who else seeks us. The world seeks men. The world seeks us, and sometimes we want the world to seek us. We want the world to say, look at us. Look how great we are. We need to have the attitude of Jesus Christ, his humble attitude. It is human nature to want to impress others and to want to lift our own selves up. But if you look at verse 10, or verse 9 rather, lament and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to gloom. Lower yourself to have a humble attitude. Don't think of yourself highly. Don't be arrogant. Don't say, oh, I'm better than everybody. Lower yourself to a humble attitude. And in verse 10 it says, humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and he will lift you up. The Lord will lift you up, not men. He will. That should be all that matters, but sometimes it is hard. Sometimes we want people to look at us and lift us up. We see about what Jesus said about this attitude in Matthew 6. He said that people are standing on the street corners praying so that they can get a pat on the back. But he says, if you go to your Father in heaven who is in secret, he will reward you openly. We need to have the example of Jesus and his humility. Let's show this world who to seek, how to seek, where to seek, and why to seek. Thank you.